let's talk through some of our best memories then. I'll go from Laurence round. Have you got a favourite Roberto Firmino moment?
I love his celebrations, but
they were just wild.
They were just wild. But also, do you know, that really feeds into the point that everyone's talking about what he does on the field. You know, when Alisson first signed for Liverpool, there's that video of him like baptising Alisson, and they're both sobbing together. And I was like, by the way, that's not a euphemism. He is literally baptising Alisson in this video. And they're like sobbing together, holding each other. And you know, when you see behind the scenes stuff, he's always like one of those guys who's involved in like starting the dance or those kind of things. You need those kind of, that's a different kind of leadership that's like, we kind of lack a little bit when he's injured and those kind of things. And, you know, Nuno seems like a cool guy and Hakpo seems kind of similar, but they both seem like a bit young and awkward at the moment. And Bobby's like one of those guys who sort of brings people out of themselves. And we keep talking about people like Alisson leaving and people like that. I'm like, what if he does want to go? Because he loves hanging out with the other Brazilian guys and like all that sort of stuff.
When I found out that he was leaving as well, I seen that clip of him playing on the piano while LA.
Yeah.
He was cutting onions in here.
Yeah.
He's just weird. And I love that because there's some people, I think, you know, spot them a mile, people who try to be something and it passes for a lot of people. And for some people, you see straight through it. You can't see through Roberto Firmino. It's just because he's just like that.
Because his eyes are blinding you. Like
his
teeth are there, and then he's literally like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, genuinely. He's just he's a natural one of a kind in the way that I think a lot of people think people are, but he genuinely is. I say, like baptisms and is mad clobber and is playing the piano and is doing all these kind of things that, like, if he was an English lad, everyone would fucking hate him.
Yeah.
Like, because he'd be like a bit
Cavalier.
He'd be Cavalier or Beckham or Grealish. Yeah. But he's Brazilian and he's a bit mad. He is that like I always thought about this in the past, like the B Sharps episode of The Simpsons, where it's like Barney and it's like a Yoko Ono comparison, and you get to be in and she gets a single plum floating in perfume served inside a man's hat, and like you just know that's what he has. That's the kind of thing that Bobby Firmino would have to drink if he went in a bar.
It's the thing that I think really sets him apart is partly he's gone under the radar for his whole career, so people don't rate him, and so that's why he never really got that like focus, and no one ever went, he's rubbish or like whatever. It's his no look thing. The no look finishes, that's the kind of thing that every fan base goes, that's got to go straight away because he'll miss one of those. He's done like 15 or 20 no look finishes in his time at Liverpool, where it's not only that, but he's blatantly like, you know, he's one of those people he's got like weird eyes when you look at them, like not bad, but just like that he can't look you straight in the eye. Even if he looked at you, you're looking at a painting. In that moment, you see him, his eyes aren't even looking at the keeper, and he's staring at the keeper going,
yeah.
If you took a shot and it was a still, in that moment, he's looking that way and doing that to the keeper, and it balls in. That, like, there's no other Premier League player that does that amount of, like, you know, step overs, shit like that. No one else, everyone else goes, oh, no, nah, don't like that. He's the only one where you're like, yeah, not in our game.
But we used to say, anyone who had like a pre-programmed celebration. So any footballer who had like a flip as a celebration. So Everton had Peter Beagrie, and he never scored. Jibril Cisse had one of them as well for a bit, and probably decided that his calves went quite up to it at one point or another. But
what gave him that impression?
But whenever you had someone whenever they think, I think, about what their celebration's going to be, you always find that they're the kind of players who flop. Whereas I don't think Roberto Firmino ever really thinks about what he's going to be doing. He just exists. Yeah, exactly. The eye patch celebration.
Karate kicks when other people are
that was amazing.
Scoring.
When he had to stop taking his top off because he was getting too many yellows, he pulled it back down after he bagged.
But he started making it like a joke. So he goes to take it off and catch himself and then go, no. You're like, oh, Bobby,
like he's in front of the mirror. No, Bobby.
Pulled the shorts. He pulled the shorts down once.
Yeah.
Pulled the shorts down. Yeah, just like that as well. He's an insane person, but he
is.
He's an absolute maverick. I said, like, he's like the Jared Leto version of the Joker. Like the borderline psychotic one, but he's just about you'll get away with it.
He's what they wanted that Joker to be. If it wasn't played by Jared Leto, who was quite clearly a huge knob.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's exactly what that would have been like. Right, okay, well, let's moments. We want to go through some. I haven't got any more football related.
It's mad because Lars is right. Like, it's mad because he's Liverpool's number 9, right, and everything. Like, all his best moments aren't goals, and they really should be. I always go back to the assist to Mo Salah against Newcastle. When he just absolutely takes the piss with a little like Rabone.
He like stands on it, doesn't
he?
It's
outrageous. Flicks it round the corner. It's stupid.
Good
and
finish
then
from Mo as well. That was.
And then Soldado when he sends him against Villarreal. They're the type of moment you think.
And then he was a meme, weren't he, with his face like that?
I remember.
For a while. Remember that one? When he was like that? Was that when it was like a little rift between Salah and Manny or something? And he was like,
barely away when they're fighting, and he's like,
he's just there like that with his baby.
Just amazing. I want to throw in the goal against Stoke 2016-17.
Yeah, it was a good finish.
Ridiculous.
He did take his top off that one.
Yeah. Rightly so, though.
And he ran around like a lunatic after it. And it's mad because me and Tom went to that game, and that was the one where we started Trent and Woodburn, and they both were absolutely, they were hung out to dry. And then we just like...
Did we go 3 at the back in that game?
Yeah. And we sent the cavalry on of Coutinho and Firmino at half time. And, well, again, being in the away end for that, and I had a couple of bad memories at the old Britannia or whatever the hell it was called at that point. You know what, it genuinely doesn't matter.
Bet 390.
The bet
365.
The bet fucking whatever. The bleached seat stadium. And the ball just drops. And
he doesn't even touch it. He looks at it and goes, I think I'll get this on the volley as it comes over him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And he smashes it in. It's one of those ones that loops over, and there's already the smoke going off from before from Coutinho's, and it just goes nuts again. He's running around, and it's one of those ones that stands in my mind because we went outside to film afterwards, and there's a guy called the Harry Potter, and if anyone's ever seen the video, will know what I'm talking about. He's like big hairy fella. He literally has the big Stoke shirt on that's plastered to him with Harry Potter on the back, and he was going, "Them Fleurs were a disgrace," and I couldn't keep a straight face because Bobby Firmino just scored an absolute screamer and all was well.
I think one of my favourites was that back heel assist against Southampton in the orange kit, where he flicks it over a fella's foot as on the turn first. It's a 1-2 with Salah, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's just stupid, and a bit like the Newcastle one you were talking about. He's done things on a football field I never thought. Remember the one was it Darwin this season where he just
Rangers?
Where he just goes like that for no reason.
Absolutely no reason.
He could have just played the pass normally, and I'm sure he could have.
Didn't he make someone on the? Was it Chelsea when he megged someone when he was on the floor? Like he was sat on his arse and megged someone. I think though, everyone thinks the PSG goal because the eye thing as well, which is that's probably his iconic moment in that in terms of like winning stuff as well. But I always go back to the Arsenal goal where he has like lads just on the floor.
Oh, mate,
it's like a painting when there's just like
it's like that photo
random
in
lads
Manchester City Centre, isn't it? When it's like everyone's falling back and being sick in the corner.
There's just random lads in teal just spread across Anfield, and he's just whizzing through them all. And they just scored, and I think they scored, and then we went 2-1 really, really quickly the other way. But they can't get near him. They are literally falling over themselves, and he's just twisting and turning them.
His other goal, he's got Mustafi doing a pirouette like that. Yeah. And then that goal, he's got Torreira just doing a belly slide like he's in Mallorca. I think my favourite one is against City, the one against John Stones, where he comes in behind him. Absolute tricep. See you later. Thanks for coming. And then he just does the little dink over the sides, like the Robbie Fowler. It's like Robbie Fowler's, isn't it? It's like carbon coffee.
Goes in, doesn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah,
he's strong. That's the deceptive thing about him, because he's standing there smiling, and like I don't know if he is smiling or if his teeth just like come out his mouth, but like he's smiling the whole time.
The
They're just there. You can't miss him, so you just think he's smiling. And then I imagine other people for that reason underestimate him. But I bet if you like shook his hand, you could feel how strong he is. He's just that kind of player. And because he's Brazilian, everyone like thinks he might be like light and just like easy to knock off the ball. But he's built like Gilberto Silva.
Also, like in that position when you drop in as a striker, that's it's a nightmare for defenders, but also it gives them a free go to just belt you. Yeah. And the amount of times people just went and he just gets up. More, I mean, he just get on, or he couldn't.
And smiles at you.
Just like, well, he might not get. He might be really angry. It'd be really hard to be a parent if you're Roberto Firmino, because your kids just think you're smiling all the time, and it says like you're not. No, you're really angry. But like, you get whacked, and you'd hold them off, or he'd just get back up again. Like really, you think, look, Brazilian centre forward, every centre half, like I'm fucking having you. But Loz is right. He was deceptively strong.
That's demoralising though.
Yeah. I think one of the things you've got to put in a top 5, by the way, is him winning us the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he scores the goal that sends us into the final for a start, and then he scores the goal that wins us it.
Even the winning goal.
That's got to be it. No other Liverpool players done that.
Yeah.
History maker.
Composed as well. What a finish.
He took ages.
Can we all be honest? It took too fucking long to finish that goal for
I went the bog. He came back. Spoiler.
It was. I remember he done something similar against Leicester once when they had an open goal and for some reason he just took ages to score it. It's like he wanted to make it more difficult for himself.
Because it's the hope that kills them. He gives them the hope and then watches as he puts it in the back of net as the hope fades away. That's why he does the no-look thing.
Yeah, he's astonishing, absolutely. And the thing as well, because it was a huge game for Flamengo and they showed how much that competition meant. They were bang up for it. They still had like a mad rivalry with us from the 80s when we played them the last time. And it obviously means to the South Americans, the Club World Cup means so much more than it means to the Europeans. And for Bobby Firmino to be our South American representative, almost being the guy who did it, and you know that's the kind of goal that will have him remembered back home more than half of the stuff that he's done for us, more than than maybe some of his antics in European competition for us.
Also, great song.
Yeah, the song's first.
The song's outrageously good. It's the pantheon of Liverpool songs. It's right at the top.
Yeah,
it's an
when you get
song.
A good 10-15 minutes of the Si Senor song, there ain't a better atmosphere.
Liam Bento says, I'll miss Bobby's special goal celebration that he has with Virgil. I miss them all. The special thing.
Do you know one of the best ones he did was was it against Palace when we had fans in the ground and for the first time and he runs the whole length of the pitch.
That was Tottenham when Tim Sherwood said there was no danger off this header, and then we scored the header.
No, there's the one. It was the one where I thought it was because we had like a small section of fans in for that game. That was like the trial thing.
And he ran the whole end of the pitch. It was
pace like we've never seen before.
Honestly, turn of pace. Like, where's that been for the last 10 years, Bobby? Like, absolutely sprinted
Saves it for celebrations. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, I think typified Roberto Firmino was saving his pace.
Left like a fucking salmon and ran foot. Like, where's that been? Like fucking Cristiano Ronaldo.
But do you know the great thing about him is, and I think I really enjoy watching players like this, in an era where it's all about like numbers and like, can you quantify how good this guy is? He is like a bit mysterious and like does weird stuff that clearly everyone else loves. And actual professionals, like he's like a professionals player.
All the Liverpool players say he was the best player.
Yeah, exactly.
He was everyone's favourite player in the team, or the best player. They all looked up.
So who's that now? Who takes up that mantle in the team?
Who's yours?
I mean, I don't know the guys, so I can't really say. I wish I did, but I don't. You hope there's someone with that like leadership personality in there, because there is a lot of very sincere leaders at Liverpool. And he seems like the kind of guy who takes it seriously, but he's always in the background laughing in a celebration, or there's always something going on.
What was it Klopp said? Sorry, about where like if you watch the game, you don't see Bobby, but if you watch Bobby, you see the whole game. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
That's the thing about the Firmino does. We say Henderson was kind of like Klopp on the pitch, in that there's a guy and he's going to go and give his absolute all for the cause, bleed out onto the pitch. But Bobby is like the embodiment of the spirit of Jurgen Klopp in so much as how he conducts himself. You go and absolutely you work your bollocks off, but if it doesn't go right, you laugh your head off. Yeah. And then you go and crack on again, and that's something that gets lost. I mean, obviously, same smile and everything, but that's it's an X factor that we won't consider when he's gone. Is you need to have lads. It's a fine balance between not taking it too seriously and not taking it seriously enough. And Firmino's always kind of tread that line, whereas you never see him really angry or wound up by anything, but he doesn't, like, as we say, he's not one of those. He's not a flake. And you can imagine that there's players who've had his skill levels, but like, when the nitty gritty happens, they're not asked.
He's a great sub though. Like, I'd imagine if you see him coming on, you're like, number 9 coming on, that's terrible. And he does seem like that kind of player that the opposition guys probably are like relieved he's not in the team, or relieved they're not playing against. Because again, other people, you're like, I know what your thing is. He could just do something mental to you and you're suddenly a meme. Yeah. And that is scary for a centre-back or a full-back.
I want to do 2 mentions. Obviously, one just on pure recency. Scores the 7th against United.
That was the most emotional I've seen him. Yeah. Like usually he's a chill guy. He lost his fucking shit. Yeah. And understandably so as well, by the way, after the week he'd had it. I'm guessing it wasn't the easiest week for him. See, and the conversation just a couple of days earlier. But he that was like how I'd celebrate the goal if I scored for Liverpool against Man United. Just went absolutely bonkers, but we've never really seen that from him before.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the other one is not so much a moment, but it's actually a moment in time. It's sort of and Chris sort of alluded to it before, but we beat City 4-1 in Klopp's first season, and we might play him in the false nine before that, but I always remember that as being the game where he kind of is reborn as a Liverpool player.
I think that might be the first time.
Might, it's in my head as that, but I haven't got that verified. But he sets up the first goal. It's an own goal by Mangala, but it is brilliance that gets him in there. He sets up the second one and then scores the third one. He nearly scores another 2 in that game, and then obviously Skrtel puts it to bed at the end. But watching that back, he was just electric, and it was like he clicked. It was like he made sense, because up to that point, Rodgers hadn't really wanted him by all accounts. He played him out wide on the right, and he just didn't fit at all. And we're like, well, what have we bought here? Benteke's the one we should be building everything around, the big target man.
Maybe if we had.
Oh God. And then Jürgen comes in and obviously has a little look and goes, yeah, as you say, let's try him in that. And that City game set the blueprint for basically everything that followed afterwards. Like, once you can do that with the players, like you'd have had Lallana on the right and Coutinho on the left of him, and there'll have been times when like Sturridge would have been floating around in that as well, and they've gone, right, this is what we build around. And people often credit like Mane coming in as the one that kickstarted, but in reality, you go back to that Man City game, that's when when it all starts for Liverpool. So that's one I'll throw in. I don't know how we make a top 5 out of this.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that.
Do you know the other thing with him is, I love players who, when there's like a melee of like 3 of their guys around your one guy, but your guy somehow emerges with the ball, he's that guy.
Yeah. Like,
because his close control is so incredible, but he's also not conventional.
Yeah.
Even when the camera's like really far away, you just go, oh, there he goes. And he just like comes out of this 3, and the 3 are all still like, what's going on there? He's really petty.
And he's megged all 3 of them.
All 3 of them. Yeah. And again, but like, you have to slow it down in order to see that. And he's done all this amazing shit and then just gotten out that little melee.
If it wasn't for how bright his teeth were, he'd be a great pickpocket.
Right. Or if anything, the teeth dazzle you and you're just like, what?
Yeah, like a flashbang grenade.
He should be Matt Damon in Ocean's 11.
That's more of a mugging than a pickpocket, really, isn't it?
Right, okay. I don't think we can do a top 5 in the traditional sense. So what I think we'll do is, we need to try and represent the full breadth of Roberto Firmino. So maybe it's a 5. We might stretch this
celebrations.
Celebrations.
So a celebration.
No looks. It's got to be no looks.
Okay.
What's your favourite Bobby celebration?
Was there not the guns? The Gunses.
I do like the
that is
good.
Also because he got other players involved with that as well, and
Mane was copying him.
The Mane copying thing.
So the kicks though, the karate kick.
I think it's the karate kick, because he was dangerously close to kicking loads of our lads in the air. We were inches away from like Virgil van Dijk not having a jaw at times.
So let's wear this out. So definitely a goal, definitely an assist, definitely a celebration.
You do realise you're just naming generic things at this point.
Yeah, because we can't possibly.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pick one for these categories. What I'm saying, right, we'll create a 5.
We've not even talked about the nutmegs, because he did nutmeg so many.
Well, can we think of a specific nutmeg? Is my point.
I can think of the drag back where he pulls it back and then pushes it through someone's legs, but I can't think who it was.
What was the turn that he done on the line when the ball looked like it was running out and he
the
just
Villarreal.
Okay, so I think a moment of skill. Yeah,
It has to be needless, because that nothing came of that.
A moment of skill, and then just a general life moment. So we've got goal, assist, celebration, mad skill,
life
moment. What's his best ever goal for Liverpool?
I've got to give it to the Club World Cup.
I'm going to say Man City. That's my favourite. That one with the shoulder on John Barnes. John Stones. John Barnes.
He wishes.
John Barnes did kill it. That little chip is a good goal. I think that would be the most replayed goal of his time.
PSG.
Goal.
Yeah.
PSG.
Well,
the goal.
Made to well do that goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the mad one where, and I don't think it was like a major goal or anything, but he had the goalkeeper and he just went near post, but off the post near post.
Huddersfield, I think it was.
No, actually, it's a lie. It's Arsenal. When they're all laying on the floor.
Yeah, I'll go with that actually.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well.
Okay, so we'll do His Arsenal goal.
There was forwards for Arsenal falling down when he was doing that.
Robbie was in the stands just like fell.
Just Ty next to him shouting about going invincible for no reason whatsoever.
He used to do that.
They don't respect us.
Thierry Henry used to do that. Yeah. Today I was like, I don't really care at the minute.
So
He's like that.
So okay, so the Arsenal goal.
Fucking in the middle of the pitch.
The Arsenal goal's his best goal. What's his best assist? I think it's
the little turn on Newcastle.
I'll go with Newcastle then.
It's Newcastle or Southampton are the two.
They're the two, yeah.
Newcastle.
I think Newcastle. Okay, go Newcastle is the best.
Do you know if they refilmed, like, you know, remember the Nike commercial in the airport where someone nutmegs someone and then he grabs the back of his neck and goes, "Ole." Yeah. That would be Bobby Firmino if he was in that advert now.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. So, celebration.
PSG's got to be. It's got to be up there.
It's most iconic, is it?
Yeah, it's the most iconic.
But the most fun one is definitely the kicks.
The kicks is the most fun.
Because the kicks is also just, the photos of that are so good.
It's fucking stupid as well. That's
imagine like...
It's dangerous.
He could like dislocate his hip landing.
He could kick a numerous amount of teams.
It's just putting people's eyes out.
That, you know,
He's got studs on, you know.
You know that lad the other day, Jäger was fuming at when he nearly killed Andy Robbo in the United game. That was Roberto Firmino. Yeah. He was literally centimetres away from injury.
He's doing spinning bear kicks in the...
This is why we're not
the kicks with Mane copying. It's got to be done.
Yeah, anything with Mane copies is funny.
Yeah,
that was in Porto, I think, in the orange kit when
We're not him though. Like, he doesn't even think of that. We're all going, what about health and safety? And this guy's just...
How close can I get to this man's eye?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love the idea of Mane going up to Firmino before the game, going, "We scored today, what are we doing?" Do you know?
Just follow me, son. Just follow me. Follow me lead.
I like the idea of them going like, right, the health and safety officers sitting down with them and going, "Right, Roberto, we've done a risk assessment on the flying kicks. I'm afraid you're going to have to stop." And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Will you just sign this to say you've read and agreed to it? Yeah. Scores, doesn't again. The guy's just like, oh my God. Yeah.
What was the one with, is it the one in the green kit with Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, where they all do like a little dance together?
Yeah.
Am I misremembering that?
I don't remember.
I feel like that's Bobby Firmino.
I think it's got to be.
That in it.
It's got to be the iPad.
I think
it's also because the way he like juts around with it is kind of cool.
I mean, the fact that like people forget, like he nearly had his eye poked out against Spurs the week before, didn't he? And he's come back and scored a goal and then decided to laugh about it with the celebration. Okay, skill.
Oh, it's outrageous. The iconic one's the Villarreal one. It's so stupid. It's so fucking pointless. I love it.
He gets away from him though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The ball's going out for a throw and instead he just basically turns Roberto Soldado inside out for shits and giggles.
What about the one where he scores off that mad one against Watford off the inside of his leg?
Oh yeah.
Does that count as skill?
That
was ridiculous. It did score. It was ridiculous.
It was. I don't remember that.
I feel like though
Salah crossed the ball
because Darwin's done that a couple of times this season as well, and he like them type of goals where the near post.
Yeah.
Like Cruyff in.
Darwin's done it.
That spin is unreal. Okay, I think we go with the Villarreal. Okay. The Villarreal spin.
Because also it looks impossible. Like, he shouldn't be able to do that at that speed. Like, he's going so quick.
Yeah. Big question then, because I think it's a pick from 3. For personal moments, from playing the piano, baptism. Oh, I've got 4. Baptism, putting his wife's vagina on the internet, and getting beaten by Chris Pajak at Pro Evo.
Oh, the meme.
Yeah.
See, I think you've missed the meme off. The Burnley meme's outrageous.
That's my one.
Sky are making a really big deal out of it because Mane and Salah haven't passed each other, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's a big." And you see him like, "It's so good." It's so good. The meme.
I'm going for the meme. Yeah.
Okay.
Only because I sent it to everyone when it came out.
Forwarded many times.
Any time in the group chat when like 2 lads having a go at each other, someone just threw it in there. little diffuser, that is the little Bobby's meme.
There's also his awareness of those memes though. Like, you know, a lot of players, there's like stuff happens about them and they don't know it's happening. Like, he knows that's important somehow, and so he does it. Shows like he's sort of normal. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not one of those people who's like doesn't know about social trends and stuff. I like that.
I'll go meme as well then. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I think that's...
Also, I don't remember beating him at Pro Evo or FIFA, whatever it was. So
really,
No, not really.
I'm sure you've beaten.
Got an elite mentality, mate. Just next game.
Harvey Elliott next.
Yeah, I was going to get that picture up, but basically every newspaper's website is fucking garbage. Right, there we go. I've got it for those of you who are not familiar with it. But we can get that up, Aaron. No, we've got an advert on it, twat!
No. That's got the hallmarks of a Reach PLC website.
You think, genuinely, you would think, wouldn't you?
I have seen the Liverpool Echo website before.
Yeah, sounds right. Okay, cool. Well, we'll. Yeah, I think we've created a pretty comprehensive top Roberto Firmino top 5 there. I think we've managed to encapsulate the fullness of the incredible human being that he is. There we go. A top 5 Roberto Firmino moment. Villarreal for the skill, PSG for the celebration, Newcastle for the assist, Arsenal for the goal, and Burnley for the meme. Absolutely nailed it. Brilliant. Well done, everyone.
I love that our best Roberto Firmino moment is a meme. That's brilliant.